Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode on the CollegeCrafts YouTube channel. Today, I'm joined by Jamie.
Hi everyone, I'm Jamie and I have a YouTube channel called Jamieology where we talk about lifestyle, different building projects, DIY crafts, and a bunch of other things. So I would love it if you would check that out.
The link for her channel will be down in the description below, so make sure you like and subscribe this video and as well as her video. Now, she's been in all of my building projects so far. She's helped me out building everything that's pretty much on there, but this time we have two separate channels and she has her own, and it goes far beyond just CollegeCrafts. So be sure to check it out. Today we're going to be building a coffee table, and it's kind of a rustic modern one, so it fit in perfectly with the theme that we plan to keep on building, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So for this build, we've procured a little bit of a material list. That is 7 2-inch by 2-inch by 8-foot boards, 2 1-inch by 8-inch by 8-foot boards, 1 1-inch by 8-inch by 4-foot board, 2 1-inch by 4-inch by 8-foot boards, and 3 boxes of Craig screws, one being 1 inch, the other being 1 1/4 inches, and the last one being 2 inches.
We started this project off by making the top of the coffee table, and we did that by taking our 1x4 by 8-foot boards and cutting them 42 inches from outside corner to outside corner. We cut each of these boards at a 45-degree angle so that when we had the finished product, no board ends were visible on the outside of the coffee table. Once all 4 boards were cut, we laid them on the ground and lined them up together using a square to make sure that they fit perfectly together.
Once we were sure that the border was square, we straightened out the miter saw to 0 degrees and grabbed the 1 by 8-inch boards. We cut all these down so that they would fit flush within the square, which for us was about 35 inches, but that will give or take depending on the width of the 1 by 4-inch, because as factories put out the boards, they're going to be slightly deviating in width for the 1 by 4s. So we cut the 1 by 8s to fit the slight deviations within the boards.
With all the boards cut, it was time to assemble the top of the coffee table, so we used our Craig tool, which we highly recommend because it hides all of your screws and makes it look nice and factory made almost for the top. We started by screwing together the frame and then made sure all the boards still fit inside the frame before screwing all of the inside pieces together.
Using the Craig guide and a clamp, we took 2 of the 1 by 4 border pieces and we pre-drilled 2 holes into each side of the 1 by 4 border pieces. Then using some glue and some pressure, we screwed the border together, securing it into place, and then it was time to move on to screwing in the center into the border. To do that, we did this alternating pattern of 3-2, 3-2, where on one side the border had 3 pre-drilled holes, and on that same side, except with the middle piece, we had 2 pre-drilled holes, and then on the next piece over we had 3 pre-drilled holes, and then on the other side 2 pre-drilled holes, alternating all the way down, gluing in between each piece. We also pre-drilled 2 holes onto the side border where the ends of the 1 by 8s would be going in, then screwing them all into place.
We sanded the top of the coffee table flat as we had some ridges sticking out and some glue that leaked out of the boards as we were laying them together.
Next up, we needed the 2 by 2 by 8 boards. Since we didn't really want to buy stuff, keep in mind, we try to do things for cheap. We had some reclaimed 2 by 4s that family had lying around, and using a table saw, when you can also use a circle saw if you don't have the means to purchase a table saw, split the 2 by 4s in half, giving us 2 2 by 2 by 8s. And we did that with 4 boards so that we could have the 7 that we needed to put the table together.
Now that the 2 by 2s were cut, we could start assembling the frame of the coffee table. So we began by cutting the legs, which we cut to 18.5 inches as we wanted a slightly taller coffee table. Then we cut 37-inch pieces for the bottom and top of the frame. In total, you will need 4 18.5-inch pieces and 8 37-inch pieces to form the base of the frame. This doesn't include the support beams that we added for aesthetic reasons and the braces that go in the middle to support the top and the bottom shelf.
Then using a Craig guide and a clamp, we pre-drilled the 2 holes onto the 2 bracers that will be going off one panel of the frame and glued and screwed them into 2 of the legs, the top bracer being flush with the top and the bottom bracer being 3 inches from the bottom, and that is from the bottom of the 2x2. We did this 2 times for 2 sides of the coffee table, and then using a miter saw set to 45 degrees, we cut 2 2x2s at 17.6 inches, and these will be aesthetic supports that we pre-drilled 2 Craig holes into each side on the bottom so that you wouldn't see them, and glued and screwed them into the legs and base bracer.
Next up was attaching the 2 sides together with the other 37-inch pieces. We used Craig holes, 2 in each side of each 37-inch piece, to attach them to the other sides of the coffee table. After we had the base put together and level, we added these 2 support beams to both the top and bottom to make sure the top and bottom shelves are sturdy.
The next step was to make the bottom shelf of the coffee table. In order to do this, we found out that family had a spare piece of 1/4-inch plywood lying around, so we happily grabbed that. Our original plan was to make it out of pallets, but because this wood was going to be thrown away anyways and it looked fantastic, we decided to use this. So we put it on top of the table. Using a pencil, we sketched around the outside of the coffee table onto the piece of plywood, and using a circle saw, followed the line so that the plywood would be flush with the coffee table once it was set in. We then cut out a piece out of the middle of the plywood that we made for the coffee table. The line was directly where the middle of a brace is, so that when we are putting the plywood into place, both sides had something to rest on, and it could actually be slid into place without the issue of trying to go around the posts and notches that we had out for the legs and the aesthetic supports. We then marked off where the notches needed to be in the plywood and glued around the bottom braces, and using a staple gun stapled the 1/4-inch plywood into place.
We then sanded down the outside of the coffee table just to make sure that everything was flush and looked nice, and then we began staining. So we decided to stain the bottom a antique white color just to give it some brightness, and we stained the top a dark walnut color, which ended up really pretty, and we loved the color contrast that came out of it. It was perfect for our space.
When one is staining, they need to always remember to, after they apply it, wait a couple minutes and then wipe it off, because if you don't wipe it off, you're going to get what looks like paint drips instead of a nice clean stain of the wood. So always paint on. We like to paint on with foam brushes and then wipe down with some paper towels a couple minutes after to give it a really nice finish.
The last step we did was to put glue on the top of the frame and attach the top of the coffee table with 2-inch screws coming up from the bottom of the top brace into the top surface, making sure that the top surface was centered. And here's the final product. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe to this video.
Be sure to check her channel out. Link is again in the description down below. Be sure to like her videos and subscribe to her channel, and that would help us out a great deal. So we hope you enjoyed. Bye.